Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
Well, hello, cruel world. I am Contra Gamer 911, the angriest gaming hermit in the universe. Now, video game reviewer. Why? Because you deserve to have someone literally give you an opinion without bias, well, about as unbiased as I can possibly be, why you should or should not buy a video game. Bandwagon is not where I come from. So today, we will be dealing with Watch Dogs 2. Just so you all know, I did not play the first game. And I've heard from people who have played the game and they said they loved the story. And others that said it was sort of convoluted and the same old revenge plot. I have a written version of this review right there on basegamer.com/@ContraGamer911. Check it out if you haven't, and for those of you that have read this, you're going to see exactly what I didn't want to put in print. I am not sponsored. This content is all my own. If you would like to sponsor me, go right on ahead. There are ways where you can do so. You can find them in the list down below this video. That said, let's get started. So, Watch Dogs 2. When I received this game in the mail, because I didn't buy it, I rented it, I had thought to myself, maybe I should just, put it back into its envelope and ship it back, right? Well, I'm kind of glad I didn't. Because I'm doing video game reviews, and you can see that every one of the reviews I've done had a pretty high score as far as the games are concerned, I had to start looking, literally fishing, for shitty games to play. I will be reviewing this game based on 4 categories: graphics, music/sound effects, controls, and gameplay. With gameplay receiving the overwhelming majority of the weight as far as the final score is concerned. So let's get started with graphics. I will compare the graphics to this game to the only other one that I feel would be fair to compare this game to, which is the first one. And unlike the debacle at E3 in 2012, there was no such controversy here with this game. And honestly, as far as all the complaints that I have about this game, the graphics are not one of them. The cars look good. The players look good. I like the, not exactly flamboyant colors, but I like that steampunk style. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a look at this little clip right here. This is Aiden going up against T-Bone. Now you'll notice that the beard with T-Bone looks kind of like somebody just took a crayon and was like, yeah, we're just going to color that in. Not really defined, kind of rushed. But juxtapose this to, say, this scene right here with Marcus Retro talking with T-Bone, one of the very few recurring characters of the series. The locks of his hair, the beard, everything well defined. I mean, someone took their time crafting the animations for this guy. The money that they spent in this game, as far as the graphics department is concerned, it was money well spent. I really don't have any problems as far as the graphics are concerned. The Contra Gamer score for graphics is a 9 out of 10. Very solid, not really groundbreaking, but it's a hallmark of a very good game. Oh, by the way, graphics only account for 15% of the score, for those of you who are playing along. Moving on to controls. No, we're not doing controls yet. Moving on to music/sound effects. Let's talk about the good. The sound effects of this game just top notch in my opinion. Firing a shotgun, it was never more appealing to me than it was in this game. I really enjoyed just when the shit hits the fan and all them enemies come at me. You know, I just break out my shotty and crystal clear detail with a lot of bass. Sound effects, awesome. The Knight Rider car sound effects, they even incorporate that annoying fucking whine that Kid made whenever it drove at high speeds. It's in this game. And oh, by the way, kudos for that knockoff Knight Rider car. I didn't want to buy any other car. That car was the shit. Great job, Ubisoft. And it just, wow. Awesome car. I don't know about the rest of them. I don't care. That Knight Rider knockoff car, 10 out of 10. The rest of the cars, well, they're well defined, they're well detailed, they have their own strengths and weaknesses, and they all have their own unique sounds. The trucks last longer than the cars, but wouldn't you expect that? I mean, come on, it's a truck. And now, the music. Now, I'm going to separate this into selections available and background music. Let's just call it board game music. The board game music was, I mean, it wasn't anything that jumped out and said, yeah, this is awesome! But you know what? It wasn't piss poor either. You know, I've went through entire sloughs of the game just listening to whatever background music that they had on there while I'm doing my missions. Some of it was really cool.
Look out!
So the background music was not bad. Not great, but not bad. Which leads me to, well, the musical selections.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
I'm not going to call myself a Renaissance man by any stretch of the imagination. I listen primarily to hip-hop music. So, of course, that's the first place I went. And the musical selections, let me put it to you like this. They sucked. They were horrible. They were horrendous. There was maybe one or two or maybe even three songs that were actually halfway decent, but the rest you could literally take, put on a disc, smash it, and flush it down the toilet. They were that horrible.
The shit that I keep while you groupie ass niggas keep on riding the dick. You ought to know that DJ Quick ain't your average everyday motherfucker. Slick like a snake cause I stuck ya. Now, I never had my dick sucked by a man before. But you gon' be the first, you little trick asshole. Then you can tell me just how it tastes. But before I nut, I shoot some piss in your face, you fucking.
Now, I did notice with the rock section that there were some interesting pieces that I have to say it got me doing, you know, it got me doing that little headbanging thing I did in high school, you know, that. But even some of the newer music was just, it was skull-crushing bad. The classical music was classical, and the rest, well, it was a motley mix. The world music was interesting. I liked some of it. Some of it I didn't. But that's up to you. Depends on your taste. Alright? If you're going to play the hip hop selections, just be warned, most of them suck. Really hard. That said, when I factor in the quality BGM, sound effects, with that crappy ass music, I have no choice but to give this game, as far as the music section is concerned, a 7 out of 10. Just because the selections are bad doesn't mean I'm going to dock all of it as bad. Alright? 7 out of 10, good. Alright, and oh, by the way, music accounts for 20% of the score for those playing along. So now we move on to controls. Here is where the lion's share of my complaints lie. Controls are bad. How bad are they? Well, pressing the start button was a chore. Trying to bring up the cell phone. Driving is a pain because you can so easily oversteer that it's not even funny. You know, the controls for the crew were much better than this. And that's bad. That's really bad. Getting into situations where you're facing enemies, trying to go in and out of cover,
just magically appears
is
there,
one surefire way to find yourself dead. Alright? It wasn't bad enough that there was pop-ups in the game, which I've chronicled quite a few.
I swear. This game is purposely trying to
But
fucking...
to make matters
set you up
worse,
for failure.
when you're trying to deal with these pop-ups, you're fighting with the controls more than you're fighting the fucking enemies. I can't tell you how frustrating that is.
Great. And watch, somebody's going to try to come up from behind, as always.
You can tell by the inflection of my voice, it was by far the worst part of the game. By far. It was not even a close second. Alright, and they got politics in this game. And the politics that is in this game, I am diametrically opposed to. The controls in this game are worse, in my opinion, than the politics. Think about that. And, oh, by the way, the hit detection, oh, shit, utter trash. There were regular enemies that were just soaking up the bullets from my shotgun at point blank range. Soaking them up.
You see how many times I shot him in the face?
I'm shooting him in the face. In the face! And they're not going down. Now, surely, I would say, yeah, that's a gameplay issue. But when you think about it, when you combine not being able to bring up the cell phone, when you can't even do this without pressing it 9 and 20 times, alright, when you're trying to go into cover and the cover system's like, fuck you, you can't put this in gameplay. Sure, the pop-ups were bad, but the controls made the pop-ups worse. Let's put it like this. The pop-ups are worse than the politics, and the controls are worse than the pop-ups. The controls I rate a solid 4 out of 10. I can shit out better user interface than that. For those who are wondering, I was streaming through my computer. All right, but my controller was connected to my Xbox One, which means that the controls that I was suffering from, it wasn't from lag from the user interface between the Xbox, the computer, and the screen. No, this was directly from the Xbox itself. 4 out of 10. Be fortunate that I don't grade it worse. Horrible. Horrible. Straight up garbage. And oh, by the way, controls account for 25% of the score. Uh-oh, Ubisoft. Think we might have an issue here. So let's get into it. The story was awesome. Fucking awesome. Get this. When going into this game, when I first started to play it, I am an anti-SJW. I am a egalitarian. I believe in meritocracy and any other buzzword that you can think of that says, hey, your skills are what get you through life. All right? So when I hear social justice nonsense, I tend to get kind of agitated. And for the first mission, the social justice meter on here was definitely over 9,000! Thankfully, the story doesn't end with the first mission. As a matter of fact, the first mission, in my opinion, was just an extension of the prelude. Once you get into the meat of the game, once you start that second mission, after they give you, the side missions, the side quests, this, that, the third, once you get past what I call the political wall, the game opens up. This game is quite literally a game meant for social justice warriors and those people who can get past the political social justice wall. I'm pretty sure if you're of the likes of like Blair White or myself, you can get past the social justice wall. And I advise all of you to put your zealotism on the table, grab your controller, puke if you have to, and get past that wall. I did, and boy was I rewarded. Each character is much more than the language they use. As a matter of fact, after that first mission, the social justice part just went out the door. Alright? Each character has its own personality. It's just, they were so likable. Even the asshole with the mask. Likable. A likable asshole. Sort of like half the trolls that I dealt with on Gamergate. These characters are just, for lack of a better word, fucking awesome. Well fleshed out. Now, sometimes it does get annoying when you're trying to get to the next mission, because for me, I was just trying to play all the main missions. But it is kind of frustrating where they make you listen to some of the conversations, even though you're like, okay, I'm at the next mission. Can we load this up now? But it was well worth it. So the story is as follows. You're a bunch of hackers. You hook up with this group called DedSec. And DedSec pretty much is the anonymous of this game. Each main mission is broken up into 4 to 6, sometimes 8 submissions, where you had to complete different objectives in order to progress through the story. The missions themselves, some of them were difficult, some of them not so much. I had fun playing most of them. Except for the ones with the pop-ups. And not because of the pop-ups. Because of the controls. Controls were that bad. But as you progress towards the story and you see what they're doing, the story slowly brings you to a point that I think SJWs and anti-SJWs both need to listen and perk up their ears to listen. And you have to get through that wall to get to it. I would be a spoiler and tell you what it is, but I'm not that type of guy. Instead, I'll just say, hint, hint, we're both being played. In real life. The story is great. The gameplay style is basically Grand Theft Auto as a hacker. Like, it's a GTA clone. There's no getting around it. But like Saints Row 3, it's actually a decent one. I like the game. I like the pacing. It was a really good game. Wow. Maybe I should drive bikes more often. Being that I came into playing this game thinking it was going to be a steaming pile of excrement.
Calls himself retro. Like his style. Spend some time.
Oh, yeah, I love that name.
That's where you're
Retro. Yeah, that's so hip in his style. Hey, I am the retro gamer.
Okay, so what's the research?
The look on my face would say it all.
Make us irresistible to the gender of our choice?
What? So it's like I know kung fu.
Gender of our choice.
If Kung Fu was a gender and not so
Done.
1999?
Done.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check my gender in the bathroom. The fucking gender of my choice. Hey, I choose to be a... I identify as a remote control for a fucking cable box. Alright? So, as your remote control for a cable box, I am going to rid the world of everything gender.
He had a distorted voice, but he didn't.
Yo, you know what I think about this game?
See, Josh.
Fuck this game.
I think giving the gameplay section a 9 out of 10 is kind of underwhelming. I mean, you convince someone like me to tell other people, hey, put up with the bullshit just to get to the point, it should be higher. It should be. However, the pop-ups do happen. There have been, the controls, and the fact that you have certain places that get frustratingly hard, all right? And it's not even that it's, frustratingly hard by design. It's as though they've thrown in these little tropes that was used back in the 80s and 90s in the arcade machines just to give it an artificial increase in difficulty. And I'm sorry, that's not how you make a damn good 10 out of 10 gameplay. 9 out of 10 is fair. And oh, by the way, for those still playing along, that means that what's left for the gameplay is a whopping 40% of the final score.
Damn.
Now, as a recap, graphics, you got a 9, right? So 9 times 0.15, you have one part of the score, right? Music / sound effects, 20%. That's 20% of 7. There you go. Put that on your calculator. 4 at 25%. Throw that number in there. And gameplay, which is a solid 9 at 40%. You add those numbers together, and you have a grand total of a 7.2 out of 10. This game is fun to play. It may not have the revenge plot of, say, Aiden's Quest in the first Watch Dogs, but the fact of the matter is, this game gets quite serious towards the end. And wow! I heard some of the complaints about this being the same old from the last game as far as the actual gameplay is concerned. You might play it, you might not. I get that. But for those who haven't played the first game, this is what the first game was supposed to be graphically and gameplay wise. I do suggest that you buy it. So, in my search for a shitty game, I actually found a diamond in the rough. So, my search for shit continues. Thank you for watching. I am ContraGamer911, and this is the first of many video game reviews. Take care, have fun, and oh, by the way, good game.
Have you ever